How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, this video that I'm going to do is going to be mainly directed to my queens. But ultimately, we all need to listen to it, my kings. And I pray that the royals are listening to it as well. Now, there are some things that are going on in America that we should not lose sight of. Now, there are some challenges that the white woman is encountering, and she is doubling back, reaching back to lean on the black woman. Now, we seen part of it during the last election with that pedophile. What was that? Was that Roy somebody? And then eventually this white boy named Doug won. I can't even keep up with their last names. And all the hoopla was that the black woman, her ultimate voting on a high percentage level, saved the world, so to speak. And we cannot get caught up in what happened to us in the late 60s and the early 70s when the Black Panther movement was going on, and it was infiltrated by white women, and white women were getting up in black women's heads talking about, well, the black man is doing A, B, C, and D. And ultimately the entire royal family was being subjugated by this system, and the royal family continues to be subjugated. So we have a meme up here, one of my favorite actresses, Cicely Tyson, I have the utmost respect for. She has not been celebrated properly. And it says, challenges make you discover things about yourself that you never really knew. You got to understand, my royal family, they know who we are, and they want to lean on us, and they want to suck on us. And I've been talking to the royal family about what we've been allowing and what we've been granting in this system. Those days is over with. There's always going to be those bed wenches and those coondelettes that are going to do what they do. We cannot allow this system to continue to ultimately destroy the royal family, go against our true leadership, our kings, because I damn sure need my kings. I damn sure need my queens. We birth the nation, my queens, and we know this. And they always want to use us. And there's always willing participants. Now, this video that I'm going to show the royal family, I know is going to drive you up the fucking wall. But it is absolutely necessary that you digest rhetoric so you don't lose sight of the bull ass shit. So let's continue on. So last weekend, they had the Women's March, and it was literally biblical what was going down. That's what I was saying to my husband. But I wasn't losing sight of the rhetoric, because last year when they had this, they had black women leading it because our voices are strong. But they using us. And I am disappointed with Viola Davis for allowing these people to gas her up. So, can you digest 9 minutes? Let's try. I'm gonna sit here with it.
Of my fellow American Malcolm X, to make it plain. In 1877, America, the greatest country on this planet, put laws in place called the Jim Crow laws. And the Jim Crow laws restricted the rights to quadroons, octoroons, blacks, Hispanics, Indians, Malays, restricted medical, restricted relationships, restricted education, restricted life. It told us that we were less than, and it came on the heels of the 13th Amendment. It came on the heels of 55 individuals, great Americans, writing the greatest document called the Constitution of the United States, saying, "We the people." Now, the reason why those destructive laws came into place, I think, can be greatly described by Martin Luther King. And what he said about time is, he said, "I'm not ready to wait 100 or 200 years for things to change. That I think actually that time is neutral. That it can either be used constructively or destructively. That human progress rarely rolls in on inevitability. It is through human dedication and effort that we move forward. And then when we don't work, what happens is that time actually becomes an ally to the primitive forces of social stagnation. And the guardians of the status quo are in their oxygen tanks, keeping the old order alive. And so the time needs to be helped by every single moment doing right. And the reason why these Jim Crow laws were in place that stifled my rights and your rights is because we fell asleep. We fall asleep when we're moving ahead and we don't look to the left and right and see that we're not including people in this move ahead. Because really, at the end of the day, we only move forward when it doesn't cost us anything. But I'm here today saying that no one and nothing can be great unless it costs you something. One out of every 5 women will be sexually assaulted and raped before she reaches the age of 18. 1 out of 6 boys. If you are a woman of color and you are raped before you reach the age of 18, then you are 66% more likely to be sexually assaulted again. 70% of girls who are sex trafficked are girls of color. They are coming out of the foster care system. They are coming out of poverty. It is a billion-dollar industry. When they go into the sex trafficking business, and they call it a business, trust me, more than likely, they are gang raped. I am speaking today, not just for the Me Too's, because I was a Me Too. But when I raise my hand, I am aware of all the women who are still in silence. the women who are faceless, the women who don't have the money and don't have the Constitution and who don't have the confidence and who don't have the images in our media that gives them a sense of self-worth enough to break their silence that's rooted in the shame of assault, that's rooted in the stigma of assault. Written on the Statue of Liberty is come. Come, you tireless, poor, yearning to breathe free. To breathe free. Every single day, your job as an American citizen is not just to fight for your rights. It's to fight for the right of every individual that is taking a breath, whose heart is pumping and breathing on this earth. And like the originators of the Me Too's, the Fannie Lou Hamers, the Reese Taylors, who in 1944 was gang raped by 6 white men, and she spoke up. Rosa Parks fought for her rights. She was silenced. To the Tarana Burkes, to the originators, the first women to speak out, it cost them something. Nothing and no one can be great without a cost. Listen, I am always introduced as an award-winning actor, but my testimony is one of poverty. My testimony is one of being sexually assaulted and very much seeing a childhood that was robbed from me. And I know that every single day when I think of that, I know that the trauma of those events are still with me today. And that's what drives me into the voting booth. That's what allows me to listen to the women who are still in silence. That's what allows me even to become a citizen on this planet, is the fact that we are here to connect. That we are here as 324 million people living on this earth to know that every day that we breathe and we live, that we've got to bring up everyone with us. I stand in solidarity with all women who raise their hands because I know that it was not easy. And my hope for the future, my hope, and I do hope, that we never go back. That it's not just about clapping your hands and screaming and shouting every time someone says something that sounds good. It's about keeping it rolling once you go home.
All right, my royal family, that is enough of that. And I will put this article in the description box for the royal family. So, what I don't want my sisters to lose sight of is, now let's read this, men. Black women, feminism is not your fight. Black men have never held you back from advancing. It was the white man, instead of being used by white lesbians fighting for white women's rights, fight for the rights of your own people. Now, the last part of her speech. was deep. All of it was deep. I'm not going to make a mockery of her speech. She spoke from the heart. But they using you, my queen. They using your talents. And what did they do also? They put the darkest woman up as well. It's a feel good for them. These white women have an agenda. And us black women must not allow this shit to happen again. I have no fight with my kings. Any issues that I have with my kings, y'all not gonna get it up here. Oh no, I stay on code. Now, I have spoke of my petty shit that I'm working with my queens. And I am doing everything to posture myself to keep my fucking mouth shut and look at the bigger picture. But I'm not gonna lose sight and let them use us again 50 years later. Because what is going on in America, my royal family, and part of them saying they want to make America great again, the white man is tired of the white woman. She's barren. She's not producing. He want her to take her ass back home. He want her out of the office. She's always in his business. Some of the biggest whistle-blowing cases in America come from Becky. Because she will tell on your ass. Now, a few months ago, we were watching the Freak Nasty Crew. And it was just laced with white men in all genres. Now we don't see it no more, but it's still happening because that is their nature. Because she was exposing their nature. And she has an agenda. And part of her agenda is using black women. We are not the same. We don't have the same issues. Now, as far as sexual abuse, domestic violence, that happens in all cultures. And those things we need to deal with individually in our own individual households, in our own individual communities, amongst ourselves. You deal with your shit, we deal with our shit. But I don't need no motherfucking Becky up in my business. And you not gonna use me. You're not gonna use me. Wait just a minute, my royal family. My son making a smoothie. Excuse me for that, my royal family. My son is on one right now. You're not going to use me for your agenda. Now, my queens, there have been a number of our kings talking about this, and some of us get bent out of shape because of our king's delivery. Well, it's like this. I can understand some of our kings could be rough, but a man is a man, and I would never ask him to change his ways. I can understand some of it, but we are in a war, and we have multiple wars that we are fighting, my queens. Don't let these bitches use you. Don't let these bitches gas you. They gassing us. They playing us. Don't grant them our royal energy. This is it. Let that bitch take her issue to her man. You take your feminist shit back to your community Now all those sisters that they're using, they gonna drop them like a fucking lead pipe. I guarantee you everything that I love. Now, like I said, I don't take people's talking points, and Cynthia G is right. They are not a progressive group of people, so they're going to keep using the same repetitive thing that has always worked for them. And then when that doesn't work, they die off, like they're dying off now. Anytime we keep allowing and keep granting those things that I've been talking about in those spiritual videos, my royal family, that's giving them that energy. And we're going to keep dealing with the same repetitive shit. I'm not willing. I've never been willing. I can remember like it was today I had this conversation. I was 23 years old, and I was talking to a sister that was triple my age, I think. Well, let's say double. And she was fighting against that. Now, I didn't have enough life experience, but I kept telling her, I don't have the same issues with that woman. My stuff is different from hers. And she was trying to say, well, women have all the same things. No. Not a woman of color. They always subjugating the queens. See, they get to us, and then we bring this shit home to our men. Those days is over with. It's a daunting thing to see it. But it is what it is. We're going to always have that. Don't lose sight of what they doing. So I just wanted to put that up. I know it was hard to digest. But let's not lose sight, my queens, of what they trying to do with us. And I am not losing sight of the abuse, the mental abuse, the physical abuse, the sexual abuse, any other abuse that a black woman has dealt with and continue to deal with. We need to deal with those things. Yes, we do. Because we abusing each other. And there are our kings who don't lead properly at all that have abused us in many ways. And we need to get down to the gritty and deal with that. So I'm not losing sight of that. But I am not going to put my kings or my queens on the auction block and put our business out in the street and let these people use us for their agenda. All right? So anyway, my royal family, I'm going to leave it right there. And I want the royal family to do what you do best. Render your voice with your beautiful divine words like you always do. I love the things that y'all have to say. Keep them scriptures coming. I may not answer everyone back, but I do my best to try to read all of them because it's important to me, because I grow from what I'm listening to amongst the royal family. So anyway, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.